Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. D23 was this weekend. Geeky was covering it on Pirates and Princesses.
Well, I got help.
She got some help. She got some help, but she did a lot of it. And as we were covering all of the announcements, we realized that many of the announcements were very underwhelming. And
yeah, we already knew about it.
Non-announcements.
What would you call that? Like reiteration?
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot of new news, and I have some theories as to what's going on here, but Disney fans were very underwhelmed. Very underwhelmed. And we're talking Disney fans across the board. We're talking Marvel fans, Star Wars fans, the game fans, parks fans especially were like, that's it. Like, that is it. So let's talk about this, because now I think other people are starting to see that Disney is not quite the company they used to be.
Yes, and a lot of it was just a big letdown.
A big letdown.
For a lot of it.
Oh, well, anyway.
Hey, did you like how I put Mickey on where the mouse was?
Yeah, I do like that.
Did you catch that?
I didn't at first, but now that you mention it. Anyway, let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Almost 276,000 subs.
Woo!
Thank you for the support. Get hyped for Crimson Ren. That actually is going to happen. We're not just saying it's maybe, possibly, maybe.
Something actually new.
Maybe going to happen. It is something new. Check it out on Indiegogo. I'll put a link. Over $53,000. 53. We have 11 days to go on Indiegogo. Thanks for the support. It's a beautifully drawn, beautifully written.
You don't have to keep doing that. It's good. I'm very proud of it. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, beautifully drawn, beautifully written comic book graphic novel, over 130 pages, hardcover. It's going to be a nice piece of work, hopefully. So let's get back to this. Yeah, you did a roundup, but just other.
That was just for the parks news. That wasn't for everything.
It's everything else. The wrap. Again, this is a Hollywood publication. They said Disney's basically, these were their big announcements. A bunch of remakes, a Pixar sequel, and Ant-Man. And that's it. Pretty
much. I mean, Pixar is a new Pixar movie. Yeah. They have, a lot of them, there was a couple that were new announcements or like new films, but most of it was just either you already knew about it or it's just, hey, it's Inside Out 2 and, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is that, they're saying, there's a lot of potential hits, maybe if they don't send them straight to streaming.
A lot of the stuff's going to be sent straight to streaming.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw, Pinocchio was supposed to be theatrical, and it was dog shit, so they sent it to streaming.
Now Indiana Jones is going to Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like, why get excited? If you're a theater owner, especially, why get excited? But none of the announcements were great. They did not announce any more Star Wars movies, which we said that was going to be the deal.
Look, it's me and you.
It is. I am a wet blanket.
Well, you're a Pisces and I'm an Aries, so.
But we make steam.
Exactly.
It's very, very smoldering here sometimes. But even the what? It's steamy. Get all steamy.
Okay.
Smolder, hotness. I don't know. Anyway, the Schmolder. This is the video game site. What the hell was that? Community reacts to D23 Disney and Marvel game showcase. It turned into a major disappointment with lackluster reveals. They didn't even have Spider-Man 2 there.
I want to talk about, yes, I love this. I had to share it. It was funny. Hopes and Dreams died 2022.
Well, before we get into it, I want to tell you, because, the parks announcements were non-announcements, and a lot of people were speculating that we were going to have all these announcements like we had back in 2017. Remember 2017? They're like, hey, we're going to reimagine Epcot. We've got all these new rides coming, yada, yada. And I think the reason they did it the way they did it was because they don't want to look like idiots when they have to walk it back. Because they made all these announcements in 2017, and a lot of the stuff they announced either got quietly canceled, publicly canceled, walked back, cut back, And it's like, that's why they're Josh D'Amaro, this guy here, and especially because of this guy, because he doesn't like to spend money. I think he was very careful. He was like, we're talking about it. We're going
to talk about all of this. But also the Marvel, people were expecting these big casting announcements, and we got none of that. It was just basically announcements or things we already knew existed in trailers.
Yeah, we have no Fantastic Four announcement.
They didn't really do much with with any more with the second Black Panther movie, and that's coming out in November. I mean, it's just we were waiting for this new announcements, and it was basically everything we already knew.
Yeah, it tells me that Disney is, my personal opinion, tells me Disney is in a state of flux right now, and they're afraid to announce stuff because Bob Chapek doesn't want to spend money. That's what this tells me.
Well, the parks thing is what disappointed a lot of fans, so we're going to talk about that. So there was I jokingly said it was like, you hear at weddings, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. You can literally break it up into those 4 categories for the most part. So you go down. So something old. Okay, so they went on again about Splash Mountain. Yeah, you announced this forever ago. Okay, you announced this in 2020. Here, You're talking the end of 2024 now. But that wasn't the new date either. That's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
And then you look at the concept art. I got this from Mickey Views. You got the concept art, and they have this big tree on top, and it was going to be this big deal. They were going to make a lot of changes to it.
Yeah.
And now it's like the tree is gone. Now someone did point out they think it's because the ride might not support the addition of that.
The ride couldn't support the additional expense of that?
Yeah. They forgot the expense word. And they keep going, well, it's going to have a lot of lights added to it. So it looks pretty at night. And a water tower. Okay.
So they just pull that out of Disney Springs or what? So what gets me about this is they went on during the presentation for Splash Mountain, regardless of how you feel about it. I mean, it's too late to change things now. I think it's kind of dumb that they're supposedly using, 2020 BLM backlash to justify the change. They were
planning for a long time.
They've been talking about this.
They've been trying to get this through forever.
Basically, they know that princess stuff is going to sell better than
IP is a running theme on this. You'll see.
Yeah. So they're talking about, they brought these ladies in. They're talking about how authentic it was going to be to New Orleans and the bayou and all of that. It's going to feel like you're in New Orleans. I'm like, yeah, I remember the mountains in New Orleans and in the swamp, all those mountain ranges, those beautiful mountain ranges in the swamplands.
Yep.
The bayou. It's really authentic.
It's authentic. Even the sign, like when you have the building here you go into, they have a sign saying something like, celebration of New Orleans or something. So apparently you're going to go into some New Orleans thing where they probably have jazz band and all that stuff. Yeah,
they're talking about the people of New Orleans. So I'm concerned. Are they not going to have any funny singing, dancing animals?
No, they have some sketches for some new animal characters.
Okay, because I whatever, keep the animals. I like animals.
We know about Splash Mountain. It's like, yes, and you keep saying this, but remember how they announced it, how many, like 2020, and then everybody went in and bought all the Brer Fox, Bear Rabbit stuff and sold it out the back door. Well, but they look like idiots now because especially people bought it because it's still here.
It costs money. Money.
Well, they can't take it down offline over at Disney World anytime soon because they have Tron, which brings me to the next point. Tron is coming. Yes, we know. You've been saying this since D23 2017, and it still isn't open. And you literally have one like it in is it Shanghai?
Yeah.
So you literally have one like it overseas. It was a clone of something you already had.
So people are pointing out, this guy here, this is, very astute. 6 years for one coaster. Disney World was built quicker than this. Yes. Universal, look how much Universal built since Disney made the announcement that Tron was coming to the US. And honestly, this should have been a pretty quick attraction because, again, it was already built.
Well, they had to move the railroad too, but that wasn't, they had to re-engineer a way to go through, but that wasn't that big of a deal.
They had to re-engineer the ride vehicles too for all the fat Americans.
Well, I don't think they did, but they have a disability vehicle that, us fatties can sit on that probably.
Unlike Universal. See, that's the trade-off. Universal doesn't have
that's true.
Generous size.
I will give Disney that. They do make their rides a lot more acceptable to people that are heavier.
Except for freaking Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I can't ride it. I'm too tall.
Yeah, it's not because you're heavy, it's because you're too tall.
I can't ride. I can't get my legs, I can't get my feet on the floor. So last time I rode it, I was literally bent in half with my knees on the seat in front of me. And I call it the mine pain because after that, because I have back issues to begin with, probably because I'm so tall, I had back issues. So I get off the ride and I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel my one leg and my back hurts. And
I can't feel my leg.
Can't feel my leg. So I haven't been back on it in years. I never ride that one.
I was thinking the Flight of Passage is another one that it's hard for people to get on to.
Yeah, people had concerns about that and they didn't realize that because they have the leg restraint. Some people have thicker legs.
If you have thicker legs, even if you're not a heavy set person, if your legs are thicker, you might not be able to fit. Then they're talking about the Pixar Place Hotel. We already knew about the retheme of the Pixar Hotel, Pixar Pier Hotel, but they're like, well, now we know it's called the Pixar Place. That's the big news. We gave it a name.
Oh, the one I'm really pissed. Did you talk about Figment in here?
Yes, I get to it.
We'll get to Figment.
This is all the old stuff. Then we talked about Journey Water, and then they gave you a picture, a maquette of the statue, a maquette of the statue. That's their big news. It's going to be 16 foot tall. I got to tell you, a 16 foot tall statue, that freaks me the hell out. I don't know if you're going to be able to get me into Journey Water, because statues creep me out to begin with, but a 16 foot I'll shit myself. I'm the fertilizer for the Journey of Water. So.
You'll have terror tinkles, and the water will journey out of your bladder, down your leg.
Every time we go to do something, travel, or we go do something that makes me nervous, I have to pee like every 5 minutes, and Neon calls it terror tinkles. And yes, I'll terror tinkle. I will be the sprinkler system for Journey Water. Then I went to something old, and then I did something new. I know I don't have everything in here, but it's the main things. So we did have some new things. We finally got to find out the new cruise ship's name is the Treasure. And they talk about Lighthouse Point, which is also old because they knew about it. And now they are moving some cruises to Australia, which is actually pretty flippin' cool. So I'll give them that. So Cruise Line and Disneyland seem to get all the announcements that were the big ones.
Yeah, well, okay. So, yeah. But they didn't get the announcements that people wanted.
Right.
In fact, I don't know if I have a tweet pulled up. Oh, here we go. Disneyland. Yeah, they made a bunch of announcements about Disneyland. Everybody thought they were going to announce a retheming of Tomorrowland.
The rumor's been around for a while.
Tomorrowland and Disneyland is in a very, very sad state. It's been neglected for ages. They keep using what used to be the Carousel of Progress as just a whatever showroom, whatever. The People Mover has been down for decades. People are very upset with the state of Tomorrowland, and they fully expected Disney, stupidly, to spend money right now.
I completely forgot for the something old about the Mickey's Runaway Railway and
that was old news too.
El Capitan Theater. Again, I should have put that in the old section. I forgot to add it because I just didn't give a shit. It's in the old section. That was another old thing they mentioned. But yeah, back to the list. So the other new things they were talking about, and they're not really that big. Guess what? For the 100th anniversary, that where we got Minnie so dripping with excitement, we're going to have 2 new nighttime spectaculars at Disneyland, and we know when it's going to kick off at Disneyland, but nothing about Disney World. So they're doing 2 new fireworks shows. That was one of the big announcements. Because
they're relatively cheap.
Yeah, they're doing they announced with the Splash Mountain, and this should be a shock to no one. There's going to be a restaurant and a store.
What?
I mean,
a store next to a Disney attraction?
It could never happen.
Oh my God! Can you buy merchandise that reminds you of the ride you just rode?
Yeah, it's a new concept.
Oh my God, I would love to go to a Disney park and then buy a t-shirt or a hat or a plushie that reminds me of that ride I rode at that Disney park.
You know what they should do? They should end the rides in gift shops directly.
Wouldn't that be great? So you can prolong the experience.
Yeah,
you can go home.
I don't know why they haven't thought of it.
You can go home and think about your 4 minutes on that ride forever.
Right, because it's mind-blowing.
Oh my God.
They did mention Epcot's getting a new nighttime show. Sometime at the end of next year, but that's all they said about it. Oh, Epcot's getting a new show. Moving on. Then they brought their Avengers campus. They're like, oh, we're going to have a meet and greet with Hulk. And they brought out like Professor Hulk in the suit. The costume is clunky. It looks awkward. That whole section was like paced weird and was awkward. It was like,
yeah.
The actor clearly cannot move in the suit.
Well, he's probably got eye holes in, I don't want to assume their gender. Maybe it's a girl. Probably has eye holes in Hulk's junk area.
Because it's very tall.
Yeah, so they're probably peeking out his pee-pee and trying to move the robot arms. And the reason they have a helmet on Hulk is so the mouth doesn't move.
Yes, they have recorded. Yes, exactly why.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
So they announced that. Then they announced The Mandalorian. Mando's coming with Grogu to meet and greet at Disneyland. Again, so Disneyland got something else.
Yeah. So this is weird. There were rumors that they were thinking about taking Batuu and actually retheming it to the Disney Plus timeline, which is about 7 or 8 years after Return of the Jedi. That would be smart if they did that, and you could actually get some original trilogy characters in there. But at this point, it's like the timeline doesn't make sense because it's supposed to take place during the sequel era, which is like 30 some years, like 32, 35 years after Return of the Jedi. But you've got characters walking around from like 7 or 8 years after Return of the Jedi. Well, not just
that. I mean, you have like one of the most popular things they did recently was they had Darth Vader show up and people went nuts. Vader's not going to be there.
You could have Ghost Vader. You could make him like, just have him come out at night and have him wear like
a hologram.
Like a glow in the dark. That'd be kind of cool.
People do have these costumes, and I've seen them. They basically are the ghost versions of characters in Star Wars, and they just wrap themselves in like tulle, in like white tulle or light blue tulle, and it's actually pretty fun.
That would be kind of funny. Like Ghost Obi-Wan.
Now we just have a lot of tools.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious if you went to Galaxy's Edge at night and freaking Ghost Obi-Wan and Ghost Yoda showed up to scare the shit out of you.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool, though. They could do it. They have the technology to project things like that.
Like, you're just sitting there eating, all of a sudden, here comes Obi-Wan, like, use the Force, Larry.
Use the fork.
Use the fork, Larry.
You're eating.
Use the spork. Well, you have to pay extra for that.
That was it. You have to pay for that. But
Use the spork.
They're going to tell you that, so you buy it. But keep going down.
I would actually go just for that.
I would actually. But they have the technology because they have the hologram of Rey. Just put it in the restaurants.
I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi and I'm going to scare the hell out of you.
That's right. Racist. So then they're getting this multiverse. This was a big announcement for Disneyland. They're adding another attraction to Avengers Campus. It's a multiverse-based attraction if they actually ever do it.
What if
King Thanos.
What if Thanos was Sauron?
Yeah,
what if Thanos was able to grow facial hair?
They're like, what if Thanos won? And I'm like, but he didn't. He decided to be a farmer. I don't understand why he's a king now.
I don't know. It's the multiverse. Nothing makes sense.
So, okay.
So they're doing a multiverse ride eventually.
Thanos won in this universe and decided to be king. Okay, so now we're into something borrowed. Guess what? We're going to borrow things we already own. Happily Ever After is coming back, which people were happy about.
Happily Ever After, yeah, it was actually pretty popular.
This was funny, though. I had to bloop it out because it's a family blog, but I live
We're not a family channel, so I live bitch.
I live bitch. I thought that was funny. Magic Happens is coming back to Disneyland. Okay. Oh, now you can talk about Figment.
Okay, this one pisses me off.
I was so excited. I was like, what?
So much.
Commercial? No.
Yeah, Josh D'Amaro comes out. And he's like, build up and build up and build up about, oh, remember this little dragon? Some of us remember this little dragon from Epcot from when we were kids. And oh my God, remember what Journey of Imagination used to be? Oh my God, it's so amazing. I've got some huge news. Everybody's like, this is it. This is when they're going to retheme the Journey to Imagination Pavilion. But oh my God, they're going to keep Figment in it. We're sitting there.
I'm Dreamfinder back too.
I don't give a shit about any of the Disney news, but I actually got out of my seat and went over to watch it. And I'm like, you better do it. You better freaking do it. We better get Figment. That popcorn bucket saved Figment. We better get Figment and Dreamfinder back in a new ride.
And Dreamfinder's
And Dreamfinder. Just Figment doesn't get it. You gotta get Dreamfinder in there too. And Josh D'Amaro's like, yeah, he's coming back, guys. He's coming back. And the crowd goes nuts. Yes, we're going to have a Figment walk around meet and greet at the end of next year. And there might be some more announcements about it too. Stay tuned.
Between now and then. Moving on.
What?
It was
the hell was that?
They have Minnie dripping with excitement. She was, and then she sucked it all right back up in. And now you aren't getting any for like 5 years because, we're pissed. This right here sums it up.
So pissed off.
This right here. After talking about Figment and even the Imagination Pavilion, this was the moment when he said character meet and greet, honk, honk. Yes, Sam. Yes. 100% Sam.
I was like, what the hell is that? Now, here's the thing. There have been rumors for the last couple of years, and I'm kind of nervous because I thought maybe Inside Out had its day and they moved on.
Yes, I know. I was too when they announced it Inside Out too.
But they're doing the Inside Out too. The rumor was several years ago that they were going to retheme Journey to Imagination to Inside Out. And then they'd relegate Figment to maybe a cameo somewhere in there.
And we thought that wasn't going to happen because they're going to have the Pixar Play Pavilion and it was supposed to be Inside Out was going to go there.
But they canceled that.
And then we're like, oh, okay, so no problem. And they canceled that. And then we're like, well, no one cares about Inside Out anymore. Oh, we're going to do another Inside Out. And we're going to have announcements about Figment coming soon. Yeah. So I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to stick Figment as a cameo in an Inside Out ride that no one wants.
And that's... even if they did something with Figment and Dreamfinder in the theater next door, but I'd heard before the rumor was if they do an Inside Out attraction, it was going to be a brand new pavilion. They were actually going to demo the Imagination Pavilion.
I've heard that one too, yeah.
But this is Bob Chapek. I don't see him spending the cash to build a whole new pavilion. I mean, a lot of the cutbacks, part of it was a pandemic and part of it was Chapek.
Well, I'm going to say real quick, our nephew loves Figment and Journey to Imagination, as does Neon, very much so.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, and I don't disagree. He's like, they have the comic for the Dreamfinder and Figment, Dreamfinder comic. Why can't they just do a Disney Plus show about that? They'll probably drum up more interest for the attraction. Even though Figment is beloved, they wouldn't have to do much. And then they could use that to base attraction on, and it'd be an updated version of Figment and Dreamfinder. And I'm like, that's a really good idea.
Now, see, here's the thing that really pisses me off. And a lot of people were pissed off too, that all the announcements about, future plans for the parks included IP. It used to be that Imagineering actually led the way, and that was
Imagineering's not allowed to.
They're not allowed to anymore. They're making movies. Ironically, they're making movies based on the attractions. They're doing another Haunted Mansion movie. Of course, they're doing a Pirates reboot without Johnny Depp.
They're talking Big
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah,
movie.
and they talked about Space Mountain before too.
And they did Tomorrowland, which was half of a good movie. The first half was good. Yeah. And they've got, all this original IP, that classic beloved IP, and Journey into Imagination could have been that. It could have been that, because Journey to Imagination was basically like the Haunted Mansion or Pirates of Epcot for years. And then they, got stupid. I mean, the ride system broke and all that, but Kodak came in. They made or was it Kodak or whoever? Was it Fuji or Kodak? I don't know. Whatever. They changed sponsors.
I think
They're
it was
like,
Kodak.
We want a new ride. And the ride they got was dog shit. And then they had to actually just kind of shoehorn Figment into it after.
That's why they didn't do the ride at Japan, was because the sponsors they had, because they had Kodak for stuff, and then they Mount Fuji.
Oh, Mount Fuji,
and they didn't do it because.
That is true. Fujifilm sponsored Disney pavilions for years. And they were going to do, it was Kodak. And they were going to do a Mount Fuji ride, which was basically what Everest kind of turned into. I think that's what happened. But they were going to have a roller coaster behind the Japan pavilion, and they didn't do it. And it was all because the sponsors were getting pissy about that.
Missed opportunity. They could have had a kaiju ride. I'm just saying.
They talked about doing a Godzilla ride. That'd be awesome.
I'd go to see that. I mean, that's where I'd be hanging out the whole time. Anyway, let's go down.
All right. So
there's the Figment debacle, and then also borrowed. Guess what? The Hatbox Ghost we already have in Disneyland is coming to Disney World, which I personally think is cool. But it's not like oh my god, I'm dripping with excitement,
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's all right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like same with Disneyland. A lot of announcements at Disneyland, other than the Avengers ride, was here's stuff you already have at Disney World.
Next. San Fran, Tokyo. They're going to re-theme another area again. This time for Baymax, because they keep doing Baymax shows.
It's like,
And then they're going to add a bunch of restaurants to Downtown Disney. And I joke because you'll pay more. And then I found this person make this comment. I know you all need to understand how interesting it is that Disney is bringing Portos down to Disney. Here's a sample price in the menu, and they're talking about 85-cent cookies. They said, we will see 85-cent cookies in Disney property. I think not.
No.
And that's it. They bring in these restaurants, and they're basically just a branch of some other restaurant that already exists.
Yeah.
So repurpose. And then we get to Something Blue, which I was really proud of this analogy.
Yeah, it was.
Something blue, because they keep going on that blue sky. And this is what everybody's talking about. Oh my God, they're retheming this. Oh my God, they're retheming that. Not exactly.
No. Okay. So this is funny too, because I want to point. I strayed a little bit on Twitter yesterday, as I'm prone to do, and I'm like, remember like 3 years ago when we told you that they were talking about retheming part of Animal Kingdom as Zootopia, and you all said you're liars, clownfish. Yeah. Well, they
flat out said they're going to.
They flat out said they're thinking about it.
No, the Zootopia area when they were talking about it before was Rafiki area then.
Yeah, because the train they were going to retheme, as I understand it, they were going to retheme the train to take you into Zootopia, which actually
made more sense.
That makes sense, but that's expensive.
But yeah, so this is going to be expensive too. So this blue sky presentation, Josh D'Amaro made very, very, very sure that he stressed repeatedly with lots of disclaimers. These are maybe ideas that they're thinking about. Doesn't mean that they're going to do them. But the first one was for Disney's Animal Kingdom in Dinoland USA. Now, Dinoland USA being torn down and turned into something else should be no shock to anyone, because they took out Primeval World, didn't replace it.
It killed people.
And,
it was a carny ride that killed people.
But basically, Dinoland USA is supposed to be like a roadside attraction. It was originally Disney World supposed to have Beastly Kingdom. They didn't put Beastly Kingdom in. Then because they were running out of money. And they also were running out of money for other things. So they decided to turn this area into a roadside attraction. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They knew it was cheap. They knew it. They played on it.
Right.
So, that's where we got Dinoland. It's kind of other than dinosaur, kind of a dump. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, ironically enough, you still can visit what would have been Beastly Kingdom in Universal. If you go to Islands of Adventure, a lot of the concepts that were designed for Animal Kingdom are actually, the Imagineers took their ideas with them when they went to Universal, and they implemented them in Islands of Adventure and in Harry Potter. They just kind of changed up the rides. So
that's where they went.
Yep.
But the Dinoland USA, they already ran out of money.
Garbage.
So they just like, we had to put dinosaurs in here. We have a dinosaur ride. Okay, just slap this up. Buy these off the, rack rides and all that shit. So they announced that, we might be seeing Zootopia and Moana, which I'm like, why the hell Moana? But the Zootopia makes sense because Shanghai is having a Zootopia being added. And like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and Tron, they could just, they paid for the R&D over there, but their government paid for some of it. And, or they worked together to do it. Just why build one when you can build two?
That's literally why Disney prototypes a lot of the attractions overseas, and people don't realize that. They do it because, especially in the case of the Chinese parks
and like Japan and stuff,
they're co-owned and they eat some of the bill. So
right, so they develop it with them, they get it for cheap, and then they turn around and just put it into, just repurpose something that already exists.
Now the only thing that makes me excited about the Tron coaster, because I'm not a big coaster fan anyway, I get vertigo and I get sick. But no, I'm excited about the Tron coaster because it's based on Tron Legacy, and the director of Top Gun Maverick was a guy who did Tron Legacy, and it's kind of making a pretty good case that they might actually do a third.
I think they're going to, because they're doing a game too now.
Yeah,
so I think they're building up to that but you know what? They're only doing it because of the attraction. Let's be honest here, because if it's all IP shit. That's why I think you're right. They're going to announce a Journey into Imagination with Figment, but it's going to be Inside Out with Figment. And I think because they said there's more announcements coming, and they're announced Inside Out 2. I think that's where they're going to go with it.
Oh my God, Figment's going to be the new Bing Bong.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Bing Bong's dead, but Riley's got a new imaginary friend.
Because of Figment in your imagination.
Figment.
He'll bring Bing Bong back because he's Figment of your imagination.
Oh, Bing Bong's not dead. He can come back. Figment can bring
would make sense to be in somebody's head because the Figment imagination. That's what they're going to do.
He's going to be somebody's imaginary friend.
They won't do it unless they can shove some kind of IP up his ass. Anyway.
Bing Bong's ass.
Figment's ass. Anyway, so then the other thing they were talking about was Magic Kingdom. And they're like, have you ever thought what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad? And I'm like,
no.
I'm thinking if I did, I'm thinking, like Phantom Manor, where you go into the basement area and it's like all like the haunted mansion, haunted Wild Wild West, like these are supposed to be based on? No. What's going to be beyond Blue Sky, possibly, maybe, someday, maybe, if the audiences respond well, is Coco, Encanto, and the Disney Villains thing that they've been promising for a fifth gate, which they also led into like you're thinking you're going to get an announcement of a fifth gate.
Oh, that pissed me off.
And then it's like, we're going to put like a ride there maybe in a Disney Villains area.
This is Disney's dick tease is what this whole thing was. This was like, they kept like building up like all these things that people have been speculating.
You finally see it. It's like itty bitty.
Yeah, right? So they're building it up because I'm thinking to myself like, oh, they're going to finally announce a fifth gate. Because they've been talking about this for like 10, 15 years. And eventually, and I thought what would actually push them into having to do a fifth gate is Universal announcing Epic Universe.
That's what I thought.
Like they'd be like, okay, we're going to do a fifth gate.
They have the land for it.
Yeah, they have the land for it. Be like, okay, now we're doing the fifth gate because, Universal's doing it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so they're going to put the villains there and they're going to put all their new stuff there, Encanto, Coco, all that. No. We're just going to tack it on to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, and you know damn well, like when they do these expansions, like they did Fantasyland 2, because they mentioned Fantasyland 2, and they talk about the expansion on that. What we got out of it was the Little Mermaid ride, which they use in Disneyland also, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which took them forever and a day to build, and then restaurants and shops. And that's what's going to happen. So like you're going to have the city, which is probably going to be restaurants and shops.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have Encanto. And then a walk through attraction, and then the Disney Villains, and you might get like maybe if they go this far, which one I think that's not going to all fit. I think they're going to have to take it down to one or two. But beyond that, you're not going to get a lot. Like, they're trying to cram so much in there. They're better to pick like Disney Villains. It's their best bet, and then put a lot of things there. Then shoving Encanto and Coco in there too. Put those over in Epcot.
No. Just build another park. If you're going to shove IP...
Where's Miguel? Sorry.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, if you're going to build...
Where's Bruno?
Where's Bruno? Oh, my God, that's what they could do with it, right? So, yeah, backstory there. We've talked about it before on the Donald, the Caballeros ride. We had a really fun ride on it one time. There's this mom who's like... Every time, where's Donald?
They're loud.
Where's Donald?
So my kids now, if we have someone on a ride like that, they just look at us and say, "Where's Donald?" We all know. We all start laughing. So they're going to be, "Where's Bruno?"
Oh, see, they could actually do that. They could call the ride, "Where's Bruno?"
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, and then that's all the people are going to do is talk about Bruno the whole damn ride. And they won't shut up.
So, because you're not supposed to talk about Bruno.
Shut
but they're going to do
up.
nothing but talk about Bruno.
Shut up and let this grown-ass man enjoy the Disney magic, okay? Dumbass kids.
Anyway, but even when our kids were little, they didn't act that annoying. So there's that. Now, the spin-off from this has been the memes about the retheming of Dinoland. They have been very entertaining. I have a real quick, want to go that real quick?
Yeah.
So here are the memes that have been popping up on Twitter, and I think they're glorious. There was a sign on one of the rides, "The end is near." Dinoland USA's point of view. I like this one. Oh, that was beautifully done.
We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it.
Well, someone makes a joke about that. I need a meta attraction about going back in time to save Dinoland before the asteroid hits. Dinoland is barely hit.
Oh my God.
I was panicking for Dinoland at first, then I remembered, A, how long does it take them to build anything, and B, nothing is ever even announced yet. So I'm confident it'll be long dead in the ground before Sue gets the wrecking ball.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, a lot of stuff Disney announced in 2017, they still haven't gotten around to yet, or they cancel it. Like Spaceship Earth, what the hell is going on with that? Do we know what's going on with that? No, it's whenever Chapek...
No, it's on hold still, apparently.
Yeah, because Chapek's probably like, well, they're going to come to the park anyway. We don't need new rides.
Well, that was one of their things. Good news. The big gaping hole in Epcot's going to eventually be finished. That was literally one of their announcements. Oh my God. Happily Ever After is coming back, but Dinoland USA is being ripped out. I've won, but at what cost? I can't wait for the Dinoland USA replacement.
Halloween. Yes. Oh my God.
Dinoland, ironically, is a literal countdown to extinction. I know, right? I thought about that immediately.
Oh God.
This is like about the Dinoland plans and everything, about that whole blue sky.
Well,
it's like...
I gotta see this.
Go ahead.
What if we take Journey of Water and push it somewhere else?
That's basically what it was like. Let's put Moana someplace else.
God.
Again. Go ahead. Yes, this.
Oh, God. This is Alicia Stella, who covers a lot of Universal stuff, and she's a pretty reliable source, actually. None of that stuff was greenlit. Josh literally said, yeah, but that one's my favorite. The concept art with Moana and Zootopia. For Dinoland, it means there are competing ideas they didn't mention. We just attended a pitch meeting.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what Neon said when we got done. He's like, I feel like I was just like, they're pitching to see what people are going to, it was going to resonate with.
That's exactly what they're doing.
To see what they should do.
Which one had the most applause? And it was freaking Figment. Figment had the most applause. You know what they're going to do?
Not Inside Out Figment.
No.
Dreamfinder Figment. You want to actually make people happy, not fucking piss people off, Disney? Not sorry, Mom. And she'd agree with me on this. Journey into Imagination with Dreamfinder and Figment.
If it makes you feel better, you can make all the ride vehicles look like popcorn buckets, and you can sell popcorn on the way out. If it helps bring Figment
If you want
back.
to win, I'm telling you how to win. We don't want another... And the thing is, I'm getting tired of IP being shoved. I mean, I guess Magic Kingdom makes sense, but I'm getting tired of them shoving everything else up the IP. And Imagineers are not allowed to create anything new. And then they're like, what if Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but with Coco? What if Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA, but with no dinos, and Zootopia or Moana instead? How about what if you didn't get Imagineering and let someone else, aside from IP, be your design guide? Yes, Josh!
Yeah, you know what they didn't announce, thankfully, because I was worried when they were like, well, now we're going to talk about Walt, and we're going to talk about what Disney used to be.
No, they made sure they put two statues of Walt in the presentation to make sure everybody knows they're not getting rid of Walt.
It's like, oh no, here it comes, guys. What if Walt Disney World, but without Walt? What if we just push Walt somewhere else? Like, yeah. We'll put the statue of Walt outside the bathroom because Walt's pissed off. You can think about how pissed Walt is when you're taking a piss. Yes, that's, yeah.
Then I think there was like one or two more, I don't remember. I know this one, yeah, Josh Damaro, what if? Yes. And then here's me. I said, I'm waiting for all the scalpers. Because they hear, oh, Dinoland's closing, rubbing their hands together, running in there, buying all the merch.
All the shit in Dinoland USA that's been collecting dust for 10 years because nobody buys it.
Because this is what happened when they announced they're closing Splash Mountain. Yep. These are all Brer Fox, Brer Bear, Brer Rabbit plushies. These people like these guys ran in, bought all of them, and then took off. And then dumbasses are still, it's like almost going on 3 years later, and they still haven't closed it yet.
God, this one's good too.
I know, I like that
Marvel
one too.
Studio. Like, oh my God, guys, look at what we're gonna get. We're gonna get something really good. It's gonna be there's nothing there. Ain't shit. There ain't shit at D23, but they had to do it. I think it's called Daddy Chapek Won't Let Us Spend Money. Mm-hmm. And we looked really effing stupid last time when we announced a whole bunch of new stuff and we didn't do half of it.
We can't. Hey, didn't they supposedly pull a theater they were going to do at Disney World for the monorails? And we got neither?
And we got neither one. So this is true. As interesting, because I was really heavy into covering the theme park news back then. They were going to build a theater on the backside of Main Street USA. In fact, they have, if you go around the back of Main Street USA, if you're let out, during a parade or whatever, you'll see they had the sidewalks and everything ready for it.
Well, if you go back to where that little area is between the jewelry store, there's another store, and there's like a little alleyway with a little table sitting there, and they usually have the silhouette artist in there, back behind those doors that are blocked off. If you go back there.
Yeah, so they were going to basically just add a whole nother section to Main Street USA, and it looked really good because it's a parking lot now. It's like a VIP parking lot. But they had the sidewalks and everything done, ready for this theater, and then they quietly canceled the theater, and they had concept art up for it and everything. And then they're like, well, no, the rumor is because the monorails are decrepit, and they smell like piss, and they break, and we know we got trapped on one for an hour. That
caught fire.
Caught fire. It did catch on fire. That sparked. Oh God. And it made the news. We made the news. So anyway, it wasn't our fault we didn't do it. Clownfish did not tank the monorail at Disney just to get on the news. Haters. But anyway, so they were supposed to take that money and divert it to new monorails, and there were all kinds of rumors about there were going to be these new Bombardier monorails and yada yada yada, and that never happened.
So the money went somewhere.
Who knows? It went to Christine McCarthy, I guess.
We were supposed to be a new that big lodge they were going to put in by River Country.
Oh yeah, what happened to that? That disappeared. They were going to do so in Epcot. The reason there was a big gaping hole in Epcot is they were going to do this festival center
and pavilion,
which looked like the Fisher-Price parking deck with bonsai trees.
Yeah, that was the pavilion. Yeah.
So anyway, they were going to do all that, and that's not happening now. Spaceship Earth was supposed to get a retheme.
That's not happening. They were supposed to put Mary Poppins ride in.
Mary Poppins! I forgot all about her. They canceled her.
They keep constantly announcing things and then they don't do it. So here's an idea. Here's a fresh idea for you, Disney. How about you don't announce something unless you know damn well you're going to do it?
Well, that's why it was such a
Yeah, they just hurry. We have to give them something to go with. We're gonna reissue parades and stuff that you love that we have already and don't have to do it. And eventually, someday, maybe we're gonna make a new show for different places.
Meanwhile, in Epic Universe over at Universal, which they will probably build Epic Universe before they get any of this announced shit done.
No,
they will build the entire park and have it open.
Well, they're worried because over in Disneyland, Universal Studios Hollywood almost has their Super Nintendo World done,
and that's going to kill Disney.
Yes,
I mean it is.
That's coming by Disneyland, and then Epic Universe. They're a whole new park to Universal Orlando, and people were like thinking they were going to say, okay, we're doing the Villains Fifth Gate. No, we're just going to shoehorn a little area with a little evil castle here in the corner, and you can pay to shop.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were going to announce a fifth gate, and I thought the only reason they were doing it is because Universal was doing Epic Universe. But then I'm sitting there thinking, like, there's no way in hell Bob Chapek would allow for that kind of a spend right now. He just wouldn't do it. He'd be like, we're making money off of the suckers that come in now, the unfavorable mix. We'll get rid of them. We'll just get a bunch of whales in here. We don't need new rides. I mean, we said before, current year Disney, it's not about imagination. It's not about pleasing the customer. It is about getting the most amount of people into the park for the most amount of money. And if they literally could just have nothing but Instagram walls and charge you
and shopping
and charge you $2 $200 just to get in the place and just spend money with no rides because rides are expensive.
They did that in Disneyland though.
Yeah.
When COVID hit.
Oh, the shopping thing, yeah.
Because they couldn't open Disneyland and Disney World was open, people were mad. They literally charged people for a ticket to get into Disney California Adventure to be able to go shop in the stores and spend money at the restaurant. You had to pay to go in to shop and spend money in the restaurant.
Yeah, and that's Disney, and I feel bad for Josh D'Amaro because you can tell he actually gets excited about all the stuff that could happen, but then he knows that Daddy Chapek is not going to let him spend any of that money. And look, I mean, Bob Iger had his faults for sure, but at least he spent money and we got a lot of expansion.
Yeah, but I think he overspent.
He overspent, and now we're paying for it.
So anyway, that was a long video, but there was a lot of shit to cover talking about absolutely nothing because that's pretty much what we got from the D23.
There was a whole lot of nothing. So we're going to wrap it up?
Yes.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Check out piratesandprincesses.net for more Disney
I covered
news.
all this shit over there. So
And, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.